To be fair lah, some guys, right, maybe their environmental awareness not very good. What I mean by that is, they thought that they are doing it. Okay, wait, hear me out.
Environmental awareness is not like you care for the earth, man.
No.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of ZULA Answers. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Bolin.
And today's topic is toxic bosses.
Ooh.
Whoa, the sound effect though.
Ooh.
So, what do you think constitutes a toxic boss?
I think the most triggering for me, right, is definitely someone that is very rude out of nowhere, you know, that kind of thing. I always think that there's a fine line between being harsh and being rude. To me, right, if you are over the line, you are rude, straight up rude, then for me it's like, okay, no, bye-bye, you know. Yeah, that's one of the triggering points for me.
Yeah, I think for me, right, a toxic boss is someone who views the world as a hierarchy.
Okay.
Like the boss thinks that he or she is better than everyone else.
Oh,
I think that's a complete no. What a good boss will do is put in the effort to, you know, interact with his people and then understand their point of view, because you cannot just focus on your own perspective.
Correct.
You need to listen to other people's perspective for the whole company to like strive up.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
With that said, let's move on to confession number 1.
Number 1.
My male HOD is harassing me.
Oh no.
Okay, HOD means head of department, correct?
No, yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Just some context. Alright, let's start. There's this male colleague who sits behind me and always looks at me up and down whenever I walk past. I feel so disgusted and uncomfortable. He is the head of the department while I'm in a low position. It is not accidental, as he will turn his whole head and body just to look at me and keep his eyes on me until I turn the corner. Should I tell HR? I'm scared that it will affect me or that my supervisors who are unaware will judge me. Like, how dare I complain about a HOD? What should I do? I'm new to the working world. Every morning I dread going to work and it's giving me really bad anxiety. I can't sleep well and have been grinding my teeth when I do fall asleep. I really miss working from home.
Wow.
I think one thing you can do, right, is you talk to other female colleagues who are like maybe in the same position as you. Not like someone who's facing it, but someone who is, you know, maybe also new like you. And you won't know, and maybe they're also facing the same thing as you. Because I've heard stories, not gonna name the company, but of like my friends telling me of a company they worked in, right?
Okay.
Where this particular male colleague was harassing almost all the girls in the company.
Oh my.
And they didn't know until they talked to each other. Like they already like say no, don't like stop doing this. I'm not interested in you. He just keeps doing it.
Damn.
Yeah, so you won't know. Maybe talk to someone and they might be facing the same thing. Another point is, I feel like at this point you need to observe first. Like observe his actions. The minute he touches you, please bring it up to HR.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and then if your HR really doesn't listen to you, please make a police report, because sexual harassment is no.
Correct. But I think so far, to me, right, if you feel uncomfortable, first ask around your colleagues, right? Second, straight away confront.
Yeah, and don't be afraid that, you know, like there won't be evidence of it, because I'm pretty sure every company has CCTVs around.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this one, let's just say there's no evidence. Okay. If you feel uncomfortable, you can confront him, right? Like, can you stop staring at me? I know I'm beautiful lah.
Whoa.
You really want, right? To be fair, some guys, right, maybe their environmental awareness not very good. What I mean by that is, they thought that they are doing it. Okay, wait, hear me out.
Environmental awareness is not like you care for the earth, man.
No. Listen to me.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, so okay, there are people, right, they will do certain things, right, thinking that no one else can see them, although it's actually very obvious. For example, my friend's friend, right, okay, yeah, he likes to bio zabo, but he didn't know that actually what he's doing is very obvious. Then he's like, huh? She know I'm looking at her, man. You know, there are people like that. Maybe this guy thought that he's doing it secretly, but because you already mentioned, right, the whole head will turn and all that kind of shit, right? But he just don't know, lor. He just not aware, you know.
Like he lacks social awareness.
Yeah, is that social awareness?
Yeah, it's like social law people. Environment is like the earth, like the tree and all that.
Okay. Yeah, some people, you know, the social awareness not very good lah. So sometimes, if you bring this up to him, right, then you say, hey, I have noticed that you're doing this. if he really truly not aware, right, he will be like, oh, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm sorry, my bad, you know. Then maybe this will stop.
He might also be just a straight up pervert, and he might be taking advantage of the fact that she's new, and like maybe because of that she won't dare to voice out.
I think it's also because he's HOD lah.
Yeah lah.
Like who dares to speak up, right? If
Okay.
you voice out already, right, you say stop looking at me, you bitch.
Whoa.
Then he still continue to look at you, right? Really, he just use camera and all, record evidence already. Then you fight already, no choice, correct? At least you confront. I feel it's like that lah.
Just don't stay silent.
Yes.
Yeah.
You stay silent, 完蛋 already.
Yeah. Okay, so I think one issue here, right, that we face is that, like looks, right? Like, let's be honest, everyone is superficial. So,
yeah, true lah.
okay, what if there are two scenarios? One scenario, maybe the guy is like her type, relatively good looking, but the second scenario, not so much her type physically. Then do you think that will change? Like, some people will be like, oh, handsome, okay, look at me, oh.
I think, okay, I feel that there are different kinds of people out there lah. There are one that's, you know, they like the attention. Like people looking at her, wow, look at, wow, a lot of guys look at me. A lot of guys look at you and one guy keep looking at you. The scenario very different. Yeah. I feel that no matter if you're good looking or not, if you keep staring someone up and down all day, I think you will. It's wrong firstly. Secondly, no matter how handsome you are, you will still come off as creepy already ma.
Yeah.
Correct. As you can clearly tell, she don't like the attention and even if it's her type, she'll be like, what the fuck? Can you stop staring at me? You get what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. It's like some people don't like the attention overall, and like that doesn't mean that their feelings should be invalidated.
True.
Like they should. The fact that they don't like the attention needs to be respected. Right?
Yeah. All right, next. What should I do with a condescending boss who micromanages? I have been working for this company for a year and 9 months. It has not been a smooth ride as I'm not doing what I studied and I'm under this toxic manager who micromanages me a lot. Like, she doesn't trust me at all. She wants me to send her draft emails before I can send them out. Understandable if you want me to do that for the first month, but until now I'm still doing it. What? Wait, until now means what? Means after 1 year, 9 months you're still doing this
Still seeing her emails
Wow, okay. Small mistakes pisses her off and I always get scolded for it. She also calls me every time, despite knowing that I'm working. Maybe she misses my voice? There's much more to her toxicity. These are just some examples.
There was a particular incident that really hurt me. English isn't my strongest subject, and one day after I had sent out the email, she called me to talk about the email I wrote. She laughed at how bad my English was and kept emphasizing that we need to use good English. She said things like, your past and present tense all messed up, ha ha ha. Do you know that, ha ha ha. She went on laughing at me for a good 10 minutes, and I was already crying at this point.
Wow, 10 minutes.
What the heck?
Okay.
Got so funny meh? Roots, yeah. I took the courage to go for English classes afterwards, and I showed my teacher the emails I crafted. My teacher said it's okay, and while there were a few mistakes, it's not as bad as my manager made it out to be. I really can't stand this. What should I do? Should I leave for good?
Alright, firstly, right, I just want to say this is a good example of what I said just now lah. The fine line between being harsh and being rude. I think the proper way to fix this issue, let's say if your employee is like, you know, English is not so good lah. I think the proper way is to guide and
to
correct.
Nurture, right?
Yeah, like never mind next time you just follow this example, then you know these are the mistakes, just take note of that. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
Now you laugh at the person.
Fucked up.
Yeah, so I think this is quite fucked up lah. Then secondly is after 1 year, I would think that after 3 months, no need to QC the email already lah.
So for me, right, when I just started out as an intern, of course my emails to clients need to be QC'd by my supervisor. But I think after that, like 1 to 2 months later, I was sending them out on my own already. Honestly, I think the boss need to reflect lah. I mean, her way of teaching is really wrong. If right, until now, 1 year and 9 months later, you still need to QC your employee's email, right? Maybe you can reflect on the way you're QCing also. It might not be your employee's fault fully. It might be the fact that maybe the comments you give just suck. Like they're just insulting without any hint of telling your employee how they can improve.
Correct. I feel that, okay, maybe let's change the perspective a little bit.
Okay.
Let's just give the boss a little bit of benefit of doubt.
Okay,
right?
today we are giving a lot of people the benefit of doubt.
Have to be fair right? Sometimes you have to see things in both ways, right?
Okay.
Let's just say if I'm the boss, right, and I have an employee that is let's say English very bad, maybe the way she write email or the way she do things, maybe it's really that bad. Like, that warrants me to keep calling her every day, right? Then I think as a boss, my role, right, my job is to have a PR session, a performance review with you, and really talk everything through and let you know that, hey, doing this continuously, it will be bad for the company. And I can't just keep reading your emails every time. Wow, this boss quite free, keep QC the email one.
You can call about the
don't
email,
have one,
laugh about the email.
Yeah, so I feel that the proper way to do things should be that way lah. And I feel that maybe this is apparent. I don't know. Maybe the person that sent this email, right? Maybe your performance not very good. That's why she's like that. I don't know.
Oh my god! Can I just say?
Yeah.
I think really kudos to you for actually, like wanting to make a change. You sign up for English classes.
Yeah.
I think really, it really takes a lot for someone to want to make a step to improve themselves. Yeah.
I mean, okay, like I feel the pain lah. Like, because for me, right, I grew up in a Chinese-speaking family also, so my English not very good also lah. So I understand this pain. Like when people keep like telling you that your English sucks, right? Then you'll be like, wow, fuck, okay, maybe it's time I go and improve. I go and take some lessons. Or I mean, luckily right now got YouTube lah. Last time, okay, also got YouTube, but not like a lot of videos out there. So I will try to watch more movies. That's how I pick up my interest in movies also. Because I watch more movies, I listen to how they talk, how they pronounce and stuff. Yeah, so I feel that pain, but it's just that if you're working in an environment where your boss can laugh at you for all this, right, or micromanages unto this extent, before you think about leaving, maybe you talk to HR, or if there's no HR in your company, talk to her directly and solve your unhappiness lah. Like, hey, you shouldn't do this to me. I know I've been trying very hard to learn English already. You shouldn't just shit on me like this. And I've been trying very hard to work for you, and it's almost 2 years. So can you at least give me some trust? You try to voice out. And if she take it very not serious, then just straight up leave. Okay, honestly, I also understand that it's not easy to run a company. It's not easy to be a boss, right? But I think that don't need to cross the boundaries lah. Being rude and laugh at people, that one too much lah.
Yeah, you can be harsh and still be nurturing,
Yeah.
You don't need to be rude when you are giving your employee comments or just giving people comments. Yeah, so I think like what Bolin said, I would say you deserve a company and a boss in general that treats you better and actually wants to put in the effort to nurture you. Find somewhere else who appreciates you.
Yeah lor. Yeah.
Alright, next confession. Fired for being an introvert. Has anyone had an experience of being sacked just because you're an introvert? I was sacked by my company today and my heart shattered as the boss announced my departure so suddenly. She wasn't satisfied with my performance, partly due to my weak communications and how I don't open up as much as others. I was told that there wasn't any improvement in my communication over time, but I mean, if I'm an introvert, how can I improve on something that forms a part of the true me? If you give other suggestions to improve on, yes, maybe, but I honestly feel very difficult to transform into an extrovert in a few months. The whole thing just makes me realize how unfriendly this society is to introverts. Why is society so judgmental and disapproving of introverts? I'm forced out of a job just because I don't have the same energy as others for socializing. Sadly, it is difficult to change society's outlook, so okay, I'll change myself.
Alright, so the question is, should I transform into an extrovert in a short period of time, but acting like one makes me feel tired and hypocritical? Are there other suggestions? Does this mean that I'll never get a long-term job and be a part of a company if I am the way I am? So please help me.
Okay, I think firstly, we have to put it out there that being an introvert is not wrong. I'm an introvert, but I'm an extrovert because of my circumstances.
Okay.
So it's not wrong to be an introvert, but we need to really look at the role that she has right now in the job, he or she has in the job, because there are certain roles that require you to speak out more, like for example, sales. Even
if you're not sales, unfortunately, you still have to have some form of communications. Even if you're a boss, you don't work for someone, you are your own boss. You will need communications even more, right? Yeah. Because you need to communicate to your employees, right?
But there are levels to it.
Correct.
Like certain jobs, communication skills are definitely more important, like client-facing jobs.
Correct.
Definitely more important.
Yeah, I think being introvert is not the main issue. if today, let's just say you are an introvert and you are doing sales, right? I'm not asking you to change who you truly are. I'm asking you to be professional and do your job. And when your job is over, right, you can go back to being who you are.
Correct. So
right?
I can totally relate to that because like as an introvert, right, there are days when I like just don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Like I just want to do my work. Don't come to my table. Don't talk to me. That day, just shut up. You know, I just want the world to shut up. But realistically speaking, when you come to work, you need to like sort of change your mindset a little bit. Be like turn on that professional mode. Get things done. Finish work 6 o'clock. Chop, go home. Have your me time. Unwind.
So whatever we have said, right, doesn't it's not here to downplay whatever you have experienced lah, right? Of course, being sad because of you're an introvert, it sucks, right? But all I'm trying to say here is that you have to be neutral about it, be more objective about the situation, and understand why this happened and how can you prevent this in the future. Because you mentioned that you realize how unfriendly this society is to introverts. I would say that that's entirely false lah. You cannot say that because like I'm an ambivert, she's an introvert. Then we are still doing what we love to do, right? And there are many introverts out there. They are doing very well in the society, right? I think it's more on how, because of a certain situation, that's how you think the society feels towards introverts, right?
Maybe, right? Okay, so maybe I give some like context. My department, right, half of us are introverts, but we blend together the extroverts very well. I would say maybe, I don't know the context here, but maybe her team members might not be as understanding, which caused her to have this mindset.
Maybe the social circle in your company, right, in this company, right, that you were in, maybe the people around you, they are extremely extroverted. So you will feel that, wow, is it because I'm really the odd one out, then I get fired? I went to Korea to work for a few months before, and if you are in Korea, right, you would know that every time they will definitely drink after work. Yeah.
In Japan as well.
Yeah. So you see, is it truly your fault if you are an introvert? No, ma.
No.
It's because the people around you or the culture in certain countries, they are just way like high up in terms of social energy. Then that's not your fault already. So you cannot see in such a way that hey, the society is like that. Society is not like that. It's depending on who you know, who you're with firstly, and where you are, you know, in terms of like country, different culture, different. So I'm just trying to change your outlook lah. Because right now you say it's difficult to change society's outlook, right? It's not lah. It's really just the people that you hang out with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to summarize, like try to, I would say, expand your outlook.
Yes.
Instead of getting society to change, you try to see from a different perspective.
Correct.
Yeah, hopefully that will help you.
Trust me, when you find the right company with the right group, then you will realize that, wow, actually, okay leh. It just, this company might not be for you.
Yeah, so don't give up on society. Don't give up on finding a company that really accepts you for who you are.
Alright, next confession. I think I'm being taken advantage of by my boss. I have about 6 years of working experience and have been with my current company for about a year. They have labelled me as the star employee as I have been helping with the company's digitalization process on top of my usual job scope. Most of the time when people have questions or encounter issues, they will come to me. I was very satisfied and happy with my job until now.
During a recent appraisal, the management hinted to me that there's a high chance I will be promoted to a manager. However, a few weeks ago, one of my bosses came to me and told me they will only give me a raise and no promotion.
Oh no.
I was deeply disappointed, mainly because I think it is time for me to venture into a managerial position and learn new skills. The reason, excuse given, was I still lack skills of a reviewer. How can I have the skills of a reviewer when I'm not a manager or reviewer in the first place?
The fact is the company is facing manpower issues. A few staff have tried to resign before and were given a raise or promotion in order to retain them. The boss mentioned that they think I'm not the kind of person who will leave the company in the short term and that the upper management has different opinions of me. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of here and I do not want to resort to having to resign for them to give me the promotion. I enjoy being the star employee here, but at the same time, I don't want to waste another year for an unguaranteed promotion. What if the same thing happens again next year and I'm denied that promotion? Any advice would help. Thanks. I feel, firstly I feel this is actually not as uncommon as you would think.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so also. Because I have a friend who like recently shared with me an experience where I think she actually wants another role, but she's excelling in her current role.
Okay.
So her manager knows that she wants the other role. It's somehow like a step up lah.
Right.
Then the manager said, okay, I will help you. But it has been so long, and she still hasn't gotten the role yet.
Right.
Yeah, and then she thinks that it's like a way for the manager to keep her.
Right.
So she's like, her future is bleak, you know. She doesn't know when that new role will come in and be available for her. So right now, what she does is she's waiting. She's playing the waiting game. Yeah,
okay.
so it's a very similar situation.
Sometimes, right, okay, because you've only been working in this company for 1 year, right? Sometimes the realistic truth about how company works is they need you to help them earn money. And certain management, they can be quite zibai one.
Yeah.
Like they will just say that, hey, can one promotion, so that you won't quit ma. You will keep staying, right?
Correct.
And they will say, hey, next year I will give you this role. Can next
That's
year.
the reality.
I think you're not ready. Maybe you work another year. We see how. You must understand these are, I wouldn't say tactics. Maybe they are true. Who knows, right? But these are possible tactics some companies will adopt, right? To keep you working for them. If today you are telling me I have been working in this company for 4 years, counting almost 5 years, I'm still not promoted, then sure as hell the company is fucking taking advantage of you. But if, let's say for example your case, right, I'm not trying to downplay whatever you said, of course lah, but what the company is doing right now is probably to hold you at your current job scope first, just until they think okay, you can move on. Then they will just promote you. You get what I mean? This is how it works lor, no choice ma.
I also think though that this seems like a very small company problem, like a smaller company problem, mainly because like there's like such miscommunication here. Like obviously there is no clear structure put into place where, or like protocols put into place where, okay, you don't go and tell your your subordinates that they're gonna get promoted, you know, these kind of things we will say. Management will say, you don't say as a boss, okay? Yeah, everything come to us. So the fact that there was a miscom really shows that there's like a lack of structure in the company.
But to be fair, the management did say high chance it's not confirmed.
But you know, this kind of thing, don't go and like raise expectations. Then after that, because you raise expectations, the higher you raise it, right, the more the disappointment.
Correct. So I just feel that no matter how the management, you know, break news to you, right, I think as an employee, you already mentioned that you did very well, you're a star employee, right? Just keep doing what you're doing. Just be good at it, right? At what you're doing. At least right now, let's just look at the brighter side. At least there's a raise.
Yeah. Maybe what you can do right now that's actionable would be talk to your direct supervisor. You know, like ask them to give you a specific timeline.
I know that your concern here is you don't want to wait for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right. So and most of the time your company will tell you that, hey, every 1 year I will give you the end of year review, right? Yeah. So my suggestion is ask for a 3-month review. Because usually that's always the case. You know your worth already. I'm a star employee. Don't need to feel that, wow, you're thick skin. No, you're not thick skin. You are just asking for what you deserve. Yeah. So just sound off. If 3 months they say no, then they will find your value once you're not there. Yeah. Alright, so to conclude, wow, I think all the examples are very relatable to a lot of people. It's very common also. A lot of people think that, hey, these are the situations that maybe it happens only to me. But actually, the way I see it, right, actually this is actually very common. Yeah,
I feel like everyone will have our fair share of toxic bosses.
Correct.
It's important to understand that while they might be toxic, right, it also, sometimes you need to reflect on yourself a little bit.
Correct.
Right? And then don't just leave the company because of a toxic boss. I feel it's important to let them know, like maybe how you feel and what you think they can improve. They might not take it well, but if you are leaving already, you know, since you are leaving, let them know. Don't leave and, you know, let them treat other people like that as well.
If you voice it out, right, and if you try to see everything in a more objective manner, you will prevent all these problems from happening again. Like you will avoid companies like this in the future, or you will avoid doing certain things in the future when you're in companies, you know. So social awareness and open-minded.
That's all the confessions we have for today. If you want us to react to any more confessions, you can leave them in the Google Forms below, link in the description box.
That's right. And if there's any topic that you want us to talk about, anything, you can just comment and we will get to it.
We will try our best to give advice.
We will try our best.
Yes.
And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye.